Dramatic video after residents came to the rescue just in time for the driver of this vehicle passing through Valley City. Thank you for joining us. I'm Krista Boehm. A sense of smell and a bad feeling brought a man driving along I-94 to pull over in Valley City right before his vehicle went up in flames. Police say a Bismarck National Guard member was driving his Suburban with a trailer attached on I-94 when he noticed a burning smell. As he took the exit into Valley City, the smell only became stronger. A few residents stopped and helped him detach the trailer and throw anything else he had inside the vehicle out. He moved the Suburban about 60 feet ahead right before it burst into flames. No one was injured, but police say they believe the fire was caused by some sort of mechanical issue. A Fargo City Commissioner is calling for cuts in property taxes, and tomorrow his proposal is up for a vote. The plan is to reduce the city of Fargo's portion of property taxes by 20%. Valley News Team's Macy Anger went around the block talking with several homeowners who welcome the cut.
It's been a pretty good neighborhood.
Justin Jondahl has been living in this South Fargo neighborhood for more than 2 years. He pays the bills and says compared to other places, property taxes seem high.
It would just lower our monthly payment for the house every month, and that would be definitely good news to save there and be a chance to pay other bills.
Most of his neighbors agree. A few blocks over, the same story.
You're going to encourage outside development and make it worthwhile for people to move to North Dakota.
Commissioner Gehrig has been asking for a reduction in property taxes since his election. This commission meeting could be the fate of that proposal.
I think it's a reasonable reduction that we're talking about. Hopefully they see it the same way. And if they don't, maybe we can come together and find a different agreement.
A handful of neighbors were concerned about what would be cut if taxes were lowered. But Commissioner Gehrig says that shouldn't be a concern.
In my estimations, we still have plenty of money in our budget to hire more officers, to remodel fire departments, to pay our employees, to hire new employees, to fix roads and all those things.
If the proposal is passed, you'll see the change on your bill next year. In Fargo, Macy Anger, Valley News Live.
The City Commission meeting is set for tomorrow at 5 p.m. at City Hall and is open to the public. Servicemen, veterans, and community members gathered at the Veterans Memorial Bridge to honor the 5 military service members who were shot and killed in Chattanooga, Tennessee. More than 40 people lined the Veterans Memorial Bridge for a candlelit vigil. Attendees were encouraged to share their stories about their service before taking a moment of silence. Jacob Danielson decided to honor the Marines after he lost 2 of his brothers in arms during his deployment in Afghanistan.
For the most part, actually, most people here are people we don't even know. So it's just showing how fast this community comes together and is able to help each other out and be there for ourselves, our community, and our country.
Marlin's Family Restaurant is also honoring the servicemen killed in Chattanooga. A table is reserved there just for them at the restaurant. It will be left up until their funerals are held. And we're learning more about the gunman as federal investigators follow the digital trail left behind in Chattanooga, where a shaken community is still coming to grips with the tragedy. Family members are preparing for funerals as state and local leaders ask what can be done to prevent against that kind of attack in the future.
At a makeshift memorial for the 5 military members killed in Chattanooga, a grieving mother expressed her pride.
My son is a hero. He died doing what he loved. He would have had it no other way.
Navy Petty Officer 2nd Class Randall Smith passed away from his wounds on Saturday, fatally injured along with 4 Marines last week in an attack on 2 military facilities.
He's my life. He's my world. I have half a heart left, and it's her, my daughter. He is gone.
As 5 families prepare for funerals, federal investigators are tracking the shooter's links to radical Islam, even as they worry about protecting against future threats.
If it can happen in Chattanooga, it can happen anywhere, anytime, any place, and that's our biggest fear.
Tennessee's governor's ordered a security review of military facilities in his state to see whether some personnel can be armed.
We don't want to leave our folks out there as targets when we've had such a horrible event happen just 3 days ago.
A tragedy that has many communities thinking about security of facilities that once seemed immune from danger. Brian Moore, NBC News, Washington.
Defense Secretary Ashton Carter has ordered that a security review be completed by the end of this week. But governors of at least a half a dozen states are already working to arm some of their National Guard troops to protect themselves and their facilities. A heads up for drivers for some delays tomorrow heading west on I-94 in Moorhead, while crews work to repair the railroad bridge on 20th Street. For about a week, BNSF railway crews plan to be out on the interstate from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Throughout the project, lanes will be closed. The 20th Street Railroad Bridge is one of 3 hit by a crane last month. The pedestrian bridge is still closed because of that crash. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death nationally, and currently the 9th leading one in North Dakota. Riders took the highway riding for those they've lost to suicide. And every 12.9 minutes that pass, an American life is lost to suicide. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood talks with community members about how the stretch of road helps them heal.
A sunny 75-degree Sunday in Jamestown, North Dakota could be classified as a perfect day for a ride on a new Harley.
Oh yeah, it's a 2015.
Beautiful. Just ask Monty Rodacker and a few of his friends. But the harmonious hum of these motorcycles aren't roaring down the street for fun today.
You can feel it already in the air here.
But rather to remember.
There's a lot of emotion. There's been a lot of tears shed, but it's in celebration.
It's the second year that members of the Jamestown community ride out of town to silence the stigma. This ride is to remember those who have been lost to suicide. For Margot Hout, a teacher who has lost 5 students to this mental illness, says it's not about saying goodbye.
They're people that were real. They were wanted. They were loved. They were grieved. They're missed.
But also to educate.
People talk all day about their physical ailments and the treatments or the medications they take, but nobody ever speaks up and talks about what they're doing to maintain their mental health. And there's really no difference.
Their voices are strong, just like the roar of the engines.
We want to make sure that we can at least try to save one person through all of this.
And Monty's wife, Cindy, still believes her son, Jason, is with her now.
Yes, 100% here with me.
By loved ones releasing their balloons, they're releasing a bit of pain from a loss.
Let them fly to the sky.
A life they will always ride alongside them. In Jamestown, Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
Or someone you know is struggling with a mental illness or needs any help, you are encouraged to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-8255.